When I'm around people, I stay positive no matter what I'm going through. But see, it was just literally about 3 years ago, I became very, very ill. I was rushed to the hospital. They found out I had what's called double pneumonia. I had double blood clots, and I was rushed immediately into surgery. Upon coming out of that surgery, I could no longer walk because both of my legs had totally locked up. The muscles had locked up. Now, they say I can walk again, but I've got to go to rehab, but that's neither here nor there. But, and to make a long story short, one day I woke up and everything was gone. Instant. I woke up literally in a wheelchair of 16 flights of stairs. Matter of fact, I was so high up, I would crawl down those stairs, and I actually broke both of my arms. I have 2 steel rods in my arm to this day, okay? Now, when I woke up that day, I found that I had nothing, homeless. I went from owning a $350,000. Right now, that house is probably worth about $600,000. My life was all taken away from me at the snap of it was over. And I'll never forget, they took me to a homeless facility. I was scared to death. I've never been in that situation. They told me if I was lucky, I could get a room. They had this facility where I could get a cot, and you had to check in every day at 2 o'clock. And to make sure if you get in line, and hopefully you could get a bed that night, or you had to sleep in what's called tent city, which is basically outside in a tent or a blanket or whatever you could do. Here it is, freezing cold, raining. I'm scared to death. I'm a grown man. I just had a family. I had everything. And here I am in a homeless shelter. And I'll never forget, they gave me a bus ticket, a one-way bus ticket to go anywhere I wanted in Dallas. And I used that ticket literally because I refused, because of my pride. My ego was broken. And I said, there's no way I'm standing in a homeless shelter. Let me get out of here. And I'll never forget, I took the bus to the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. Now, here it is. I'm at the airport. I stayed in the airport that night. And what I did was I went over to the international section where flights were going out in the morning internationally. And I met a guy from Korea, a businessman. From what I understand, he's a multi-millionaire, but he didn't have any American money with him. And he was hungry, and he wanted something out the vending machine. And I'll never forget, I had about $5 in my pocket, and he wanted to trade me some Korean money for anything I had, so he could get him a little something to eat out the vending machine, because all the restaurants were closed. It was the middle of the night. And I used here, this is how stupid I am. I gave him my last $5 to get him a little bite to eat when I had absolutely nothing but that ticket. Well, the next morning, the airport literally kicked me out because they knew what I was doing, and I had to go back to that homeless shelter. Long story short, I was homeless. I used to check myself in every day at 2 o'clock. I would get a cot, thankfully, and every morning they would wake us up at 5 o'clock, and then you had to go, they had this little center, okay? And you could go to the center. Oh, let me tell you this. When I went back to the homeless shelter, in the bus station where they took me back over, this lady stole my iPhone. Literally grabbed my iPhone and stole it, because what they do when you're on the streets like that, if they get their hands on your iPhones, they'll go and block them and sell them. That's how they make money. And I didn't know that because I've never been in that environment, but I had my iPhone stolen, so I had no cell phone. And I'm here in the homeless shelter, but every morning I would get up and I would go over to the little training center where you could luckily get you something to eat, okay? And they had these computers. And I would log into that computer, and all my passwords were messed up because I was logging in from different IP address. I mean, it was insane. And I'm like, I'm all right, I'm gonna make it through this. Nobody's knowing this. And then I would make a post. I would literally tell people to take the free tour from a homeless shelter. Now, they closed that center at 12 o'clock noon every day. Again, I'd sit outside for 2 hours waiting till 2 o'clock to go check back in and get a cotton. Here's what I learned while I was there, is that one, I didn't want to be there. Two, that people get caught up in their environment. I cannot stress to you how many people I met being homeless in a homeless shelter. How many people are totally conditioned to being in that situation? I mean, some of those people were earning $3, $4, $5, $6. One guy I met was making $6,000 a month on his VA disability benefits. $6,000 a month, and you're in a homeless shelter. I also noticed that everybody there had a cell phone. I'm like, how in the world are y'all getting all these people getting? These people are broke. they're in homeless shelters, and they all have cell phones. And what I found out, and I learned real quick, is when you get government benefits, which I wasn't getting because I had no ID. I didn't have a driver's license. I didn't have a birth certificate. So what they do is they try to get all that for you through their services, but it takes time. And I found out when you get benefits, government benefits, you can get a free phone from the government. So I'm checking it out, but I didn't even have any of that stuff. And they told me that it would take a couple of weeks to get all of my benefits in, my Social Security card, my ID card for Texas. And I said, I'm not going to be here a week. I'm not getting caught up into this. And finally figured out that if somebody would take me in and vouch for me, and I could go live with them, they would give me a bus ticket anywhere in the United States. And, thank God to this day, and I'm getting choked up telling y'all the story. My sister in Virginia vouched for me, and they gave me a Greyhound bus ticket from Dallas, Texas, to where I am now. Some of y'all know I'm not even going to tell you where I am. I'm in an undisclosed location is what I call it. So anyways, that was a mess because I'm in a wheelchair, and a lot of those buses cannot transport you in a wheelchair. So I literally sat in a Greyhound bus station. It took me almost a week to get from Dallas to where I am now. I get to where I am, and I'm living with my sister with nothing but the clothes on my back. No money. My sister, fortunately, went out and got my driver's license where I am. My ID card. She got me my birth certificate. I was able to apply for social services, food stamps. I was able to use that to go online and get a free phone. So I got an Android phone for free with free minutes and all that good stuff. But here I am, coming out of that situation, living my worst life. I'm rock bottom. But you know what? When I got that cell phone, I was the happiest human being on the planet because that's all I needed was a cell phone with some internet. That's all I need. Just watch this. And my sister's telling me every day, Tim, just get healthy. Don't worry about the money, because she thinks a little different than me. And most people do. They don't understand how entrepreneurs think. And I'm like, no, just let me do what I do. And I got that cell phone and I went to work. And man, I'm posting, take a free tour, take a free tour, take a free tour. And I'm talking to Ben, and he said, we're going to go international. Here we go. Folks, I want you to hear me and hear me. I want everybody to hear me right now. You're listening to a recording, listen to what I'm going to tell you. We're not talking 2 years ago. I was in a homeless shelter on October the 28th of last year, 5 months ago. I had absolutely nothing. Not years ago, 5 months ago. I'm living at my sister's house, and Ben turns on the system on December the 13th. We went to work. Take the free tour, take the free tour, take the free tour. People started joining, but we kept going. Keep sharing, keep sharing, keep sharing. Some came aboard, some didn't. But guess what? This company changed my life. You see, when we launched this thing on December the 13th, the next thing I know, I'm starting to get these weekly checks. They started out averaging about $1,000 a week. Now I go from homeless to $1,000 a week the first couple of weeks, because I understood that I get $25. Now remember, I have nothing, but I can get $25 on every person I enroll, and I get 9 levels of pay on fast starts. Focus on the focus, Tim. Focus on the focus. I'm not in the best situation. My sister goes to sleep at 9 o'clock at night and cuts off the lights, and I can't have the TV. I'm going crazy. That's not how I live my life. But I have to live by her rules. I'm in her house. I'm a grown man. I'll be 55 this year. But you know what? I would get on that cell phone when that TV got cut off and them lights went out. And I'd be on that cell phone the rest of the night, take the free tour, post it on Facebook. Some of you have been following me a long time. You saw my posts, see my posts. And you know what? Those checks started coming. First week, $1,000. Next week, $1,000. Got our first residual check. It was about $900. But guess what? I made just enough to move out my sister's house. That was the best feeling in the world. and I literally moved into an extended stay hotel. But I was no longer under her roof. I was on my own. I can eat DoorDash. I can do whatever I have to do. All I need is this Android phone and internet connection. Leave me alone. Get out my way. Take the free tour. Posting. For the last 4 months, folks, I have been living in an extended stay hotel. Right now, as I talk to each and every one of you, I am in an extended stay hotel. Now, the goal is to be out of here on the 1st of June, but let me tell you what's happened in 4 months. I've gone from literally homeless to my sister's house to living in an extended hotel. And Ben said it on the call yesterday. I'm approaching $100,000 a month. That's $1.2 million per year. And we're only 5 months old. But I understood if I focused on the focus and I went to work and I didn't make excuses. I didn't say I can't get to, or everybody I talk to can't do this. See, I didn't get caught up in that nonsense. You know, I got focused on the focus. All I need to do is get people to take this free tour. That's it. And in 5 months, folks, 5 months from homeless to be sitting where I am in a position to earn over $1 million in income this year. But it's not about me. That's my story. But we have already created 22 diamonds in this company. The diamonds in this company are earning in excess of over $10,000 a month. One of my first distributors. This guy is making an upwards of $20,000 a month from his hospital bed. The problem is some of us are in positions where we're too comfortable. Listen to me. Some of you all, listen, my voice are too comfortable. You know what I mean by comfortable? You have a home and you got a mortgage or you're paying rent. And as long as you have a job that can cover your necessities, you are what I call comfortable. See, you're stuck in what those people in that homeless shelter were stuck in. They were comfortable. If you want to win in this industry or win in business, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to change your way of thinking. Okay? Now, let me share this with you. But let me make you all aware of something. What would you do? Ask yourself right now, what would you do if you were all of a sudden overnight put in a position like I was where you become uncomfortable? How long could you last? How long could you last if you lost your house tomorrow? How long could you last? Now listen to this closely, especially in America. How long could you last if your disability check got cut off? Or you had to go 2 months without your disability check? How long could you last if your job was over tomorrow? How long could you last if the interest rates double tomorrow? How long could you last if you worked for the government and you had to go without a check for 2 months? How long could you last if you're in the military and you don't get paid for a couple of months? I'm talking those guaranteed checks. What if your disability was cut off? What if your Social Security was cut off? Well, folks, let me hip you to something real quick. You may not go homeless. You may never be put in that situation. The one thing I love about this industry is it is recession proof. And the economy is the economy you create. Because here's what you guys may not know. I don't know if you guys are news freaks like I am and watch the news. I don't know if you know America is in a crisis right now. And if we don't get a bill passed to pay this debt and raise that debt limit, do you all know within the next couple of weeks that if they don't pay, they've never done it before, but we're getting close. If they don't pass a bill to raise the debt limit, do you realize everything I just said to you is going to happen? Do you realize all social services will be cut off? All government offices will be cut off? And guess what? All those checks that you're guaranteed, your disability, your Social Security, unemployment checks, will be over. Now, you may get it back and get it up when they do finally get it through, but could you last without it right now? See, once you get it, what we're doing here, what Ben said on the call the other day, he said, I just want to get this in your heads. I want to get this in your head when I'm trying to get into you. See, listen to this, people. See, you got to focus on the focus. See, when you become a diamond or above, you receive a percentage of everything moving in this company. Company did what, 7.5 million, 7.3 million last month. We'll approach 8 to 10 million this month. We're doubling every month. Can you imagine when this company's doing 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, where all of you are sitting right now? But we have to focus on the big picture. So you got to believe it first. You got to want it first. You have to have the hunger pains first. And you got to get uncomfortable. You got to get uncomfortable. It's going to take work. It's going to take not doing things you've been doing with your kids every day. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to take letting your spouse know, I'm about to give this business the next 90 days of my life. I'm going to run so we don't have to live like this anymore. You know? Guys, you guys are sitting on an opportunity of a lifetime. This is our one shot. I'm just going to say faith. When you have faith, when you believe, I believe I was put in that position for a reason because it humbled me. And it made me realize of what I never want to go back to. It made me stronger to now know what to do with money. This woman's a school teacher. This woman was under contract. And you know what? She worked as a school teacher full-time, but she focused on the focus with this business part-time. And now, I just heard on the call this morning, she is making more money in this company in a month than it would have taken her years to make on her salary as a school teacher. But you have something in your hands right now that can change the life of your grandchildren. You have something that can make your family better. Is it going to take hard work? Yep. Is it going to take focus? Yes. Going to take commitment? Yes. But what do we do, folks? What do? We share a free tour link and tell people to take a free tour. That is what we do. How complicated is that? Do you realize that if you just give away free tours, you can become a millionaire in this country?